I still remember the day it began. It was a warm afternoon when I walked out to my mailbox and found an envelope that looked far too official. The HOA seal stamped across the front. I frowned as I tore it open, and my heart dropped when I read the words inside. Notice of outstanding fee. $10,000 due within 30 days. I froze. $10,000? For what? My hands shook as I read on. Apparently, the HOA had passed a new neighbor fee meant to support community beautification projects. But here's the truth. I had lived in that neighborhood for nearly 20 years. I had seen neighbors mow their own lawns, repaint fences, and help each other out. There were no beautification projects. This wasn't about the community. This was about control. Later that evening, I called the number on the notice. To my surprise, the HOA president herself, Karen, picked up. Her voice dripped with arrogance. "Ah, Mr. Davis," she said. "I see you've received our notice. Payment is expected in full 30 days. No exceptions? $10,000? I asked, my voice cracking with disbelief. "Karen, I've never missed a fee but this. This makes no sense."
Ow.
She laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, Don T. Plainavi. Everyone's paying. It's the cost of living in a premium neighborhood. And if you can't handle it, maybe this community isn't for you." Her words hit me like a slap. I felt anger boiling in my chest. "This isn't right, Karen. You can't just invent fees. You'll find out the hard way if you don't pay," she said coldly, before hanging up. That night, I barely slept. My wife sat next to me at the kitchen table, her eyes filled with worry. "John," she whispered, "we don't have $10,000 to throw away. What are we going to do?" I took her hand. "I don't know yet. But I do know this. I won't let her bully us." And in that moment, I made a decision. I wasn't going to bow down. If Karen wanted a fight, she had just chosen the wrong neighbor. The next week, things got worse. Karen started showing up in front of my house. She would stand there, arms crossed, watching me like a hawk. One morning, as I watered the garden, she walked right up to me. "You've got 2 weeks left," she said, her voice sharp. "If that check isn't in my office, we'll start the foreclosure process." I nearly dropped the hose. "Karen, I own this house outright. Paid it off years ago," she smirked. "The HOA can still place a lien. You'll lose everything. Is that what you want?" My blood boiled, but I forced myself to stay calm. "No, Karen, what I want is fairness. And what you're doing is extortion." Her smile faded. For the first time, I saw a flicker of fear in her eyes. That night, I pulled out every HOA document I had. Old contracts, bylaws, and community rules. Hours turned into days as I studied every line. And that's when I found the loophole. Nowhere in the bylaws did it allow the HOA to create new special fees without a majority vote from the homeowners. And guess what? None of us had voted. The next morning I went door to door. My neighbors were just as shocked as I was. "She told me the same thing," said Mrs. Thompson, a widow down the street. "I've been sick worrying about how I'd ever pay it." One by one, they admitted they felt threatened, cornered, afraid to speak up. Karen had been ruling with fear for years. That's when I knew. This wasn't just about me. It was about all of us, so I called a lawyer. A calm, kind man named Richard, who listened carefully as I explained everything. When I handed him the documents, his eyebrows rose. "You have a case," he said firmly. "A strong one." Just like that, the fight began. The day of the hearing, the courthouse was packed. My neighbors filled the benches, whispering nervously. Karen sat at the front, her pearl necklace glinting under the lights. Her chin held high as if she already owned the room. When the judge called us forward, my heart raced. But as Richard stood beside me, calm and confident, I felt a flicker of hope. Karen went first. She strutted to the stand and declared, "The fee is entirely legal. Homeowners must contribute to maintain the prestige of our community. If Mr. Davis refuses, the rules must be enforced." The judge frowned. "And where in your bylaws does it state you have the authority to impose such a fee?" Karen shuffled her papers. Well, it's implied. No, ma'am. Richard cut in smoothly. The bylaws clearly state that new fees require a majority homeowner vote, and here he held up a stack of signatures is proof that no such vote occurred. In fact, every homeowner here today denies approving this so-called neighbor fee. Gasps filled the courtroom. Karen's face turned crimson. The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Karen, this court does not tolerate intimidation or unlawful practices. Not only is this fee invalid, but your actions border on harassment. In that moment, it was as if a weight lifted off my chest. The judge's gavel struck. Case dismissed in favor of Mr. Davis. HOA is ordered to cease collection immediately. Cheers erupted from the benches. My neighbors hugged me, tears in their eyes. For the first time in years, they felt free. Karen, on the other hand, slumped in her chair, defeated outside the courthouse. Mrs. Thompson held my hand and whispered, "You didn't just save yourself. John, you saved all of us." I looked around at my neighbors, ordinary people who had been silenced for too long, and I realized she was right. This wasn't just about $10,000. It was about standing up to injustice, no matter how small it starts. And here's the truth I want to leave you with. Bullies thrive in silence. But when we stand together, even the loudest voice of intimidation crumbles. So tell me, friends, have you ever faced someone who tried to control or intimidate you? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who you might inspire.